We just heard Lazarus the Top Don performing Somos Latino, and there are always new rappers bursting on the scene year after year. So now we have Willie Estrada, who's known for being an artist manager, booking agent, and promoter for some of the biggest Latino rap talent out there, to give us a unique perspective within the music industry and hip-hop culture.
Plus, we have Caridad de la Luz, also known as La Bruja, one of the world's leading spoken word artists and the executive director of the New York Poets Cafe. Welcome to you both.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yes, indeed.
How did disco pave the way for rap hip-hop music?
All the first rap songs that came out during the latter part of the 70s all sampled disco music. But disco DJs and all that, predate the hip-hop DJs and all that stuff, and they paved the way. Disco also was instrumental in, being the backbone of rap. Every single rap song before then had sampled disco.
Do you think that was a way to keep disco alive? Because disco supposedly was dead.
Before disco started dying, after 79 and stuff like that, it started dying out, there was, the record pools were already disseminating, rap music. Before it got onto the radio in 79 with Rapper's Delight, we were already partying to rap music, at house parties, because all the DJs were getting their music from record pools like Shure Record Pool, IDRC, which was much bigger than Shure, Eddie Rivera, who owned it, International Disco Record Center. Then you had Sal Abatello, with Fever Records and stuff like that. So all of that was instrumental in helping hip hop grow.
And what other musical genres besides disco?
Oh, come on. You had, salsa, which in 73, you remember salsa, the Fania All-Stars held that concert in Yankee Stadium. And then you had funk and soul, which is where disco came from, right? But funk and soul music is what we used to develop the hustle initially. All that music was very influential.
I love the way you light up when you say salsa. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
It almost messed up the lighting director.
Caridad, what are some of the similarities and differences between spoken word and rap?
Well, I think it's the meter of it, spoken word is poetry and rap is poetry. It's still connected, but I think the delivery, the rhythm, the meter, you can do spoken word a cappella or Acapulco style, but, but with the rhythm on that beat is where, the poetry fits in. And I think that's where it separates. But to me, it's absolutely connected.
From Puerto Rico all the way to the boogie down, check the smells and sounds in the underground that you found here.
As an artist, do you find yourself listening to all music spoken word wise? Do you kind of change what you're listening to and hear it as spoken word?
I always listen for the lyric in all music. That's why jazz was difficult for me to really embrace, because I was starving for the lyrics. I was starving for the story. I've learned to appreciate it now, the story that the instrument tells and, where it pulls you, the certain sounds. But it's all poetry to me. Life is poetry. Everything we say, how we engage is poetry. But I'm always listening for the lyrics, yes.
That's beautiful. I agree.
And it's also Black and Latino. They're the same. All of these genres are rooted in Africa, but humanity is rooted in Africa. But the diaspora of the African people and the culture, the traditions, because of colonization and what we've experienced, worldwide, it has disseminated into the Caribbean and across the world, and then all these flavors mixed together. So when you were talking about disco, it's what influences what? Everything influences everything. I don't think that there's a defined line that says, oh, we're gonna take disco and turn it into hip hop. No, it just evolved, and then the term came.
The first time I heard Rapper's Delight on the radio, I'm like, it's finally on the radio, right? So you take pride in that because it comes from the diaspora of the South Bronx, of the ghetto, you know what I'm saying? So, you tend to gravitate towards that because it's like we're putting a stamp on this and we're here, you know what I'm saying? And it's part of us.
Where do you see today's Latino artists in rap?
Wow. What epitomizes that would be Bad Bunny. You know what I'm saying? The man's taking the world by storm. I had an opportunity to work with all of them. Wisin Yandel, Don Omar, Ivy Queen, Tego Calderon. I worked with all those people in the past. Reggaeton's been around since the 80s, in the early 80s. People don't know that. You know what I'm saying? So it's been around for a
consider
minute.
reggaeton connected to hip hop?
Of course, yeah. It's all related. It's like you said, music. It's like I wrote this thing and I called it the spirit of dance, really, and it's the music really that makes everything else come alive, including the dance. An example would be soul and funk, right? That music gave birth to dances that the Puerto Ricans created, like rocking and the hustle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So really it's the music that's the powerful ingredient in all this, right? And music's always evolving and reinventing itself. It's all related.
And that's why DJs were actually first before the MC, because the MC was the master of ceremonies, but everyone didn't have one.
Exactly.
There wasn't always a mic available.
Exactly.
So, Caridad, where is the Latino poet in spoken word today?
Right here. I mean, at the New Eureka Poets Cafe, there's a huge culture that continues to evolve. Well, when I was thinking about the Latinos in hip hop, we have like a Princess Nokia, and then we have like Joel Ortiz, for instance. We have Latino MCs and Latino rappers, but they were always there. And so many of them in the early days were Afro-Latino. And because they were Afro-Latino, the Latino part was kept, under the rug. Like it was like the dirty secret of hip hop early in the day was that it was equally Latino. But, and only now, I think that people are embracing, that we are united, that we are together, that the culture is intertwined, that is not separate, because that's, separation is the best way to conquer a people.
That's right. Divide and conquer.
It's very strategic to downplay the Latino-ness in a Black, culture, or in a Black setting, and vice versa.
Right, create the division and then make us fight each other.
That's right.
And it has worked.
Right.
But luckily, we are continuing to, embrace, like those of us that, like, I know I've always embraced my Africanness. I've always embraced my indigeneity, my Taino culture. I've always wanted to know. And, even
They're all
myself.
intertwined. They're all intertwined.
That's what makes us beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what makes this culture what it is. It's all of us together. It's
The melting pot.
the melting pot that makes it absolutely delicious. And, looking at the way that the world is, even now, we haven't really advanced in that regard. This, the racism is still
the separatism,
relevant, prevalent, persistent, pervasive, and it's all systemic. But it's important that we have these conversations and
to get it started.
Yeah, because colorism exists. Like there's a lot. Like we're fighting a serious problem, and I think
dogmatism is part of it as well.
The battle continues. I love you both so much. I could sit here and listen to y'all because y'all are glowing and y'all make me glow from the inside. And it's extremely personal because I've loved you, Cari, forever. And Willie, I've loved you for about 13 minutes. But that 13 minutes counts. Thank you for joining us.
Love you as
That's
well, my
all
brother.
the time we have for today.
Elena.
But tomorrow's
Thank you
another
for
day.
having us.
Don't hop that turnstile on your way home. And make sure you come back and ride with us to the next stop on the hip hop subway when we talk DJs and dancers, Latino B-boys and B-girls. I'm Tuffy Questell.
And I'm Elena Romero.
See you at this next stop on the hip hop subway, the L line.